why do we join? Let's just, I mean, I think some of it's obvious, but
For redundancy, so you have like
yeah.
the weight distributed over two, or like one of them, one of the sides breaks, you have the other one.
Yes. Okay, so where are you talking about the redundancy? Where is the redundancy?
That we have two.
Yep. Two arms. We call these arms.
Arms, yeah.
Yep. But there's another place we have redundancy. Yeah, okay, so we have redundancy in this system. We have redundancy all the way out. So this is, the climbing rope is over the edge of the cliff and he's floating in there. Sweet. I wish I had that skill. So that's good. There's redundancy all the way through the system. There's another spot there's redundancy here. It's really super obvious.
Two.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the two objects, right? So on this one, let's say we have a big ass tree. Do we need to join this to something else? If we are just, 100% sure this tree is not moving for the next 100 years, and I've just put a very strong no knot around it, could I just take this to the edge of the cliff, float out in the air, and just tie a figure eight on a bite, clip two carabiners there, and put the rope on it? I'm asking that question.
Yeah, I would.
And what are you thinking? What's your thoughts? Yeah, you had a hesitation. You said yeah, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute. Is this a trick question?
Well, yeah, I guess I would think, at first the reason I thought yes was because if it's a huge tree,
Yeah.
then it's gonna have really deep roots and it's gonna have a good grip into the ground.
Yes.
So yes, you could.
Yep.
But there's always that slight chance that it looks really strong and then actually you put weight on it and it just whoosh.
Okay, so let's test it, right? Like maybe let's push on it and just make sure there's no movement. But like we're talking like 300-year-old cedar that's big. I think it's totally legit. I want to free us of this idea that we always have to like have a joining method. Super quick, and the quicker we are, what's the advantage to that?
The more you get.
The more you get to climb. Yes, that's what we're there to have fun, right? We're not there to like spend 2 hours setting up the anchors, right? If you could set up 2 anchors in 10 minutes, then your participants are on the ropes and they're climbing. That's awesome. They're having fun, and maybe they get tired, and then you can add in the Tyrol in. You can add in the rappel. You can bring them up and you can teach them how to build an anchor, and they go away feeling super rewarded. Like, oh man, that was a great day of climbing. Versus them sitting down at the bottom of the cliff for an hour and a half when you're trying to do redundancy off of 2 massive cedars, right? And you're running out of rope because you're like, oh crap, I don't have enough material to get to the edge of the cliff. So totally okay to use one. We join, so potentially we have a tree that's a little bit smaller. I mean, I've even used like big shrubs, like equalized big shrubs here and a big boulder here, right? I'm like, oh crap, there's none one of these shrubs is like good enough. But if I add 3 of them, I have at least a halfway anchor here, and then I have a big boulder here. How big does the boulder have to be that I feel like this is full strength? Yeah.
I
So
told you to say that.
yeah. So like if it's this is kind of a small fridge, but if the boulder's this big and it's laying flat, it's not on ball bearings. So it's not like Joshua Tree has this sloping edge of cliffs, and if the boulder's up there and there's lots of gravel underneath it, it doesn't actually take that much weight to start that thing going. And once it starts going, you're in trouble, right? Because everybody's below that. And that's in one way people get killed. So the boulder is at least this size or size of a fridge. It's not on ball bearings. It's not on a slope. Or right, typical boulder is like in the ground. It's like part of the cliff. Like we're wrapping something that's like sticking up out of the cliff. We're wrapping around that. So we could, if it's that big, just go off a single one. If it's smaller, we're a little bit less sure, we can join two.
Is there ever any, like, fear, I don't know, like, kind of the physics of it,
Yeah.
but like, if there's a boulder that's like 50% in the ground or more, so
Yeah.
it's just the dome, and
Yeah.
then there's all the angles on it, or they're just coming out of the ground and then, like, doming like that, is there a rope coming up and over?
Yes, yes, yeah, very much so.
It's like a good measurement to know whether it's kosher or not,
Well,
in terms of the angle, like, out of the ground.
I don't know if there's a good like measurement, but let's just think about this. So if I understand correctly, you're saying the boulder's rounded.
Mhm.
I'm putting something around, I'm putting a rope around it. I'm gonna be at the bottom of the cliff the whole day, so I don't really know what's happening up here. This thing can kind of shift and start moving over the top. If I'm nervous about that at all, then I'm gonna reconsider, or I'm gonna try to figure out a way that I can get the rope underneath just a little bit of a lift to hold it in place. So there's a couple things I can do. I could put a piece of trad gear, if there's like a crack or something, above that rope to keep it from moving up and over. I could belay from the top, so I could see this the whole time. I could just choose something else. When I, you know, as years go along, you kind of get this gut feeling like, oh, that's like a little bit too smooth, it's a little bit too rounded, but you can also kind of like, and just like, you can take it and just kind of shake it, and just try to do, like, see if it can move over it. There's also this climbing myth that there's somebody out there that's gonna come up here, like a magical person, and like tweak that thing up and over, and that just isn't gonna happen. And there's nobody who's gonna come up there and just magically cut the rope either. So if it's staying on when you're like shaking it and moving it, it's most likely gonna stay on there because the weight's gonna go back down over the cliff, so it's gonna be actually pulling down. Yeah, but it's a totally legitimate concern. Like, you don't want to put it on like a smooth rock where it like slides off of it. That being said, if I have a smooth rock and I'm a little bit of nervous that's going to slide off of it, and I can join to another tree, I've got the redundancy. So somehow this comes off, I do have another arm that's staying on, and then I can also just check throughout the day, send assistant guide up or myself up there just to see what's happening. Okay, so joining takes a little bit more time. It gives us redundancy. Ideally, we want redundancy in every spot. It's redundant in what we're anchoring to. The two arms are redundant. So if I cut this right here, this is still completely full strength is our ideal. And then it's redundant up and over the edge here. So let's just talk, because this is kind of classic one that we did in intro. So intro to climbing,